Hi guys, I'm the CGA, and this is my attempt at a Pokemon Ruby Hardcore Nuzlocke only using Pokemon with the ability Intimidate. As a reminder, here are the rules for this challenge. I also play with a variant of the species and dupes clauses, meaning I can't have two Pokemon of the same evolutionary line on my team. See the description down below for the full rule set. Intimidate is considered to be one of the best abilities for Nuzlocking. When a Pokemon with this ability hits the battlefield, the opposing Pokemon's attack gets lowered by one stage. In Gen 3, physical versus special attacks are dictated by type instead of the moves themselves. That means Intimidate will effectively make moves of all the types on screen weaker. After the stress of my last run, I thought a better ability like Intimidate would be easier. Spoiler, I was wrong. Here are all the Pokemon available in Gen 3 that can have Intimidate. I needed to play Ruby for this challenge because Mawile isn't available in Sapphire. Also, since Mawile is the only unevolved Pokemon on this list, it'll be our starter. Wish me luck, and if you enjoy this video, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing, leaving a comment down below, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, I'd really appreciate it. And with that said, let's jump in. I wake up from what I imagine is a chloroform-induced slumber in the back of a truck. When we stop moving, I get ready to face the child trafficker. Oh, hi Mom. After getting settled in, we miss my dad on TV, just like in real life, and I introduce myself to May. I run out to Route 101 where Professor Birch is being attacked by a wild Poochyena. You would think a Pokemon professor would have at least one Pokemon on him to battle with. Anyway, I reach into his bag and pull out Mawile, who astonishes a few times for a win. Mawile is really good in the early game since she's a steel type and most Pokemon only have normal moves like Tackle and Scratch, which she resists. Back at the lab, Birch lets me keep her and I name her Roz. By the way, when you guys figure out the nickname scheme I used, be sure to comment it down below. I tell Birch I don't have time to waste on May, but he insists that I go see her. I catch up to her on Route 103 and she forces me into a battle. We're just gonna skip over it since there's no need to watch me mash the A button to use Astonishes. Now that I have some Pokeballs, I go to Route 101 to catch this good girl who will soon be an intimidating beast. I name her Celia and she'll just be hanging out in the party for now. Then, on Route 102 I catch a Surskit who I name Boo. Same deal as Celia though, I can't use her yet. Then I get to Petalburg and confront Norman, who seems to be very fatherly to this other kid. You never helped me catch my first Pokemon, Dad. I EV train Roz in special attack on some wild Ralts, who might I mention only have a 4% encounter rate, making this terribly time consuming. Then, I go to Petalburg Woods where I'm forced to protect this Devon researcher from a Team Magma grunt. Let me set the stage here. Astonish has 15 PP, and the not very effective damage plus misses from Sand Attack means I likely won't be able to kill Poochyena. So here's what I ended up doing. I wasted all of Roz's Fake Tears PP before entering the fight. Now she can only use Astonish until she struggles, which is a 50 base power normal type move. After she runs out of Astonishes, even though she takes recoil damage equal to 1/4 the damage she deals with Struggle, we're easily able to take down Poochyena and the Magma Grunt runs away. I arrive at Rustboro City and, after training Mawile up to level 15, it's time to take on Roxanne. The fact that Mawile is a steel type who resists rock and while grinding Roz learned Bite will make this fight very easy. Geodude starts by defense curling, but dark type attacks are special so this won't help her out. Roxanne ends up wasting both her potions on this rock as it only takes a few bites before it drops. I also ended up getting 2 flinches so it never even touched me. Her second and last Pokemon is Nosepass. I lower its special defense by 2 stages with Fake Tears as it does baby damage and drops my speed with a Rock Tomb. Then it defense curls as I bite. I guess Roxanne didn't learn anything from watching her Geodude die. Roz brushes off 2 rock throws like nothing and picks up the win with a pair of bites. I step out of the gym and watch a Magma Grunt run off with this guy's goods. Seems sketchy to me. I chase the Grunt to Rust Turf Tunnel and find out he also stole Mr. Briney's Pico. Now this is serious. I step up to him and he says this. The translation team really missed the mark on this one. Anyway, he gets clapped and now all is right in the world. The Devon researcher asks me to deliver the goods to Captain Stern in Slateport and then takes me to his boss. The president of the company, Mr. Stone, asks me to deliver a letter to Stephen Stone in Dewford. Probably no relation. Maybe Stone is just the Hoenn equivalent of having the last name Smith. On my way out of town, I totally dub May as she is left twirling around like a moron. I backtrack to old Briney's place and hitch a ride over to Dewford Town. This guy tries to tell me all about well viewing, but I have a better phrase for him. Now everyone shall know my pain. Take this girl for example who can't imagine what life would be like with a present father. Or this guy who actually thinks he saw his absent dad. My next order of business is to grab the old rod and reel myself in a Magikarp. Meet Wazowski. Now I can finally evolve Celia at the level cap of 18, and with Roz grinded up, it's time to take on Brawley. This is where things get incredibly hard for my team. Brawley's fighting types are super effective against the only 2 Pokemon I have for this gym, so I'll need to get creative. The strategy I'll be using here is called Intimidate cycling. By continuously switching between my Pokemon, I can lower Brawley's attack to the point that I can take hits. The annoying thing about this gym is that both Pokemon have the move Bulk Up, which raises their attack and defense by 1 stage each time it's used. I'll need to keep intimidating and hoping Bulk Ups don't come out or my switches are useless. Let's see how it plays out. The battle starts with Machop already at -1 attack from our first Intimidate. After switching Roz in, she takes 13 damage from a -2 Karate Chop that thankfully doesn't crit. Next I use Fake Tears to lower Machop's special defense to -2 as it bulks up. I switch to Mightyena who takes 17 damage from the next -2 Karate Chop. Then Bite does over half Machop's health as it bulks up again. One more takes it out and brings in Brawley's ace Makuhita. I bring in Roz but her Intimidate is negated by bulk up. Then I land a Fake Tears as the Dumpling Boy bulks up again. Celia comes in but another bulk up keeps Makuhita at +1 attack. I decide to cycle one more time hoping more bulk ups don't come out. Roz gets sand attacked, which is probably best case scenario. Next turn she lands another Fake Tears as more sand gets kicked in her eyes. I bring Celia back into an arm thrust. Oh no, the first one crit. Number 2 connects. 3. Thank Arceus it was only a 3 spot. Celia barely hangs on as her Oranberry brings her up to 13 HP. Now I need to risk it all on a bite, but Makuhita just hangs on. We get the flinch. Brawley heals and I think I was in panic mode since instead of continuously biting for the win, I switched to Roz after my first one. Brawley heals again as Roz's bite doesn't even do half to Makuhita, but we get another flinch. After her second bite, Roz gets sand attacked and she's able to win the battle with one more. That badge was too close for comfort. After I stop shaking from fear, I adventure through Granite Cave to deliver the letter to Steven. I tell Mr. Briny it's time to blow this popsicle stand and he takes me to Slateport City. At the Pokemon fan club, I spread the word of absent father to the masses. I give Captain Stern the Devon goods and then stomp these 2 magma grunts who ambushed us. Big Bad Maxie barges in and straight up calls his subordinates simps, which is a word nobody would use in mainstream language for another 18 years. He tells me his incredibly dumb idea of expanding the landmass before leaving the city. I backtrack to Rustboro to get the EXP share as thanks from President Stone and slap it on Wazowski. I train the team up a bit and get stopped by May on Route 110 for another battle. She opens with Shroomish and I send in Roz. On the first turn I use Fake Tears as Mawile gets paralyzed by Stun Spore. A crit Mega Drain does almost nothing as Bite hits Shroomish for about half its health. Next the little mushroom sets up Leech Seed as a high roll Bite gets the kill. Numel is next, but since it has Ember I can't risk keeping Roz in, so I bring out Celia who gets growled. From here 2 bites take the camel out as Ember does about a fifth of Mightyena's health. Last is May's Marsh Stomp which has Mudshot, so it's still all on Celia. My first bite flinches, but next turn Mudshot connects for 20 damage and a speed drop. Celia's Oranberry brings her back to a comfortable amount of HP, and after a water gun she's able to finish May off with another bite. I get to Mauville City and I think it's safe to say I've indoctrinated the whole region at this point. There's even this guy in the Pokemon Center who sings about absent father. Wally tries to prove to his uncle he's ready to fight Watson with only a level 16 Ralts, so I quickly crush his dreams. While battling Watson's gym trainers, Wazowski evolves into Gyarados, so now we have our first true monster on the team. Then I evolve Surskit into Masquerain and suddenly we have a team of 4. Now it's time to do my favorite thing, waste hours playing slots. I stare mindlessly at the reels until I have 4,000 coins and buy myself a Flamethrower TM to teach Wazowski. With all the prep done, it's time to take on Watson. Gyarados and Masquerain are both weak to his team, but since Steel types resisted Dark until Gen 6, this is going to be a whole team effort. I lead Gyarados who melts Watson's Magnemite with a Flamethrower. Next I hit Voltorb with Flamethrower as a 4 times effective Spark does 45 damage. Next turn I finish off the Electric Ball and the Pokemon who intimidates me the most comes in. If you have a weak stomach, I suggest you look away now. We salute Boo as she comes in for the very first time to get fried by a shockwave. This lets me get a free switch to Roz, who gets sonic boomed before landing a fake tears. I don't know why Watson didn't use 2 shockwaves to kill, but I'm not complaining as I get to land another fake tears to bring Magneton to -4 special defense. Now the shockwave finally comes out and Watson claims another member of the monster squad. Rest in peace, Roz. We couldn't have beaten Brawley without you. Celia comes in to avenge her fallen friend as I start mashing Bite. Mighty Anna's Cherry Berry cures her paralysis after Thunder Wave and she gets the flinch on her next bite. Watson heals Magneton, but its fate is already sealed. 2 more bites take it down, and with a heavy heart, I accept the Dynamo badge. I move Boo and Roz to the absent box as I contemplate how I'll get to the Elite Four with just Celia and Wazowski. I enter Rust Turf Tunnel from the Verdant Turf town side and reunite these lovers who immediately go back to Wanda's house for some rest. Between here and Meteor Falls, a lot of insignificant stuff happens, so let's skip ahead a bit. Archie from Team Aqua steps in to scare off the magma grunts, but they already have the meteorite from Professor Cosmo. With the lift to Mount Chimney now accessible, I teach Mighty Anna dig and enjoy the scenery. At the top of the mountain, we see this magma grunt who's obviously very confused at Poochyana's typing. After dealing with a grunt and admin Tabitha, it's time for our first battle with Maxie. Wazowski learned Dragon Rage at level 25, which I used to do over half of Mighty Anna's health, whose sand attacks and retaliation. It paid off since Gyarados misses on his next 2 Dragon Rages and gets hit by bites for a decent chunk of damage. Wazowski lands his next Blast of Fury and Maxie brings in his Golbat. I switch to Celia, who only takes a bit of damage from Wing Attack after the Intimidate drop. Next turn she gets confused but breaks through to land a bite. Then I switch back to Gyarados, who also takes minimal damage from a -2 Wing Attack. A flamethrower ends up getting the burn and a Person Berry prevents Wazowski from being confused. Maxie heals his bat, but a critical hit flamethrower knocks it out regardless. Last is Camerupt, and Gyarados as a water flying type is immune to magnitude and resists Ember. Dragon Rage takes more than half of the Camel Volcano's health as a crit tackle does 21 damage. Next turn it just takes 1 more Dragon Rage to give us the win and Team Magma pulls out. I run down Jagged Pass to Lava Ridge Town and would not want to be this old guy. With nothing left to do, it's time for Flannery. Full disclosure, I got lazy and didn't want to jump the ledges to grind and come all the way back to Lava Ridge, so Celia's 1 level below the cap for this fight. She opens with a howl as Slugma almost takes her out with Overheat. Then I dig for a kill and rinse and repeat for the next Slugma. Last up is her ace Torkoal, so it's time for Wazowski to come in. Body Slam does decent damage, but he'll be able to live 2 more. I Flamethrower Torkoal because 2 Dragon Rages aren't enough to kill, but I want to keep it out of healing range, and then the turtle hits another Body Slam. Next turn I use Dragon Rage and Body Slam paralyzes Wazowski. Good thing he has a Cherry Berry. With 1 more click of Dragon Rage, we take Flannery down and barely scrape by the 4th gym. From here it's a straight shot to Petalburg to face the absent father himself. One of the reasons I chose Ruby over Emerald is that Norman has 2 slackings in this game and I really hate myself. Luckily Celia has Dig, so I can do some damage without any retaliation because of Truant. Unfortunately my 5th Dig crit slacking, so now it's in healing range. I Sand Attack on the heal, Truant turn, and next turn as slacking misses Facade. Then I connect 2 bites and Norman opts for Feint Attack since it can't miss even though Celia resists. After 1 more bite, I bring Wazowski in, who gets yawned. I switch back and forth until Facade misses and can finally take this thing out with the Dragon Rage. Next, Vigoroth comes in and I switch back to Mighty Anna, who takes 20 damage from a -1 Facade. Celia isn't messing around as back-to-back bites flinch and she's able to take the kill with a 3rd. Now is Norman's 2nd, scarier slacking, but Celia still has 5 digs left. After 2 of them crit, it's time to bring in the closer. Wazowski does get hit by a focus punch, but at -1 attack plus his resistance it only does 26 damage. With a blast of Dragon Rage we bury the Sloth Gorilla and have surpassed our absent father. Wally's dad gives me Surf, so Wazowski finally has a stab water type move. On my way to Fort Tree City, Watson sent us to New Mauville to turn off the generator and awards us the TM for Thunderbolt, which I immediately teach Wazowski. The moveset is really coming together, Mike. I mean, the game is just asking for it at this point. I battled Admin Courtney at the Weather Institute, but it really wasn't exciting, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I also plucked the Mystic Water off the gift cast form before banishing it to the Shadow Realm for the rest of this run. Right before making it to the Treetop Town, May stops us for another fight, but she straight up gets washed. Big Steve gives me the Devon Scope so I can see Kecleons and get into the gym. While making my way through the gym puzzle, I stupidly walked up to this trainer who's completely optional. I bite his Swellow, and then after double team I miss my second and see Endeavor come out. I switch since there's no way he'll go for Endeavor again. You've gotta be kidding me. I missed Thunderbolt next turn, but Wing Attack isn't strong enough to kill Wazowski. Thankfully, he lands his next Bolt of Lightning, and when Pelipper comes in, I need to go back to Celia or Gyarados will level up and be ineligible for the fight against Winona. Wing Attack does 10 damage, and Roz must be looking down on us since Bite gets a flinch and Celia kills with her second. Still not over my fear of Swellow, I need to take on Winona, who opens with her own. I have Mightyena out front because I can't risk Gyarados getting endeavored after a Thunderbolt. Swellow starts with a double team as Celia connects Rock Smash. I needed to teach her a weak move to do a little damage since 2 Black Glasses bites aren't enough to knock this bird out. Next turn she Aerial Aces as I connect on a bite. Just like I thought, Endeavor is next and Celia picks out the real Swellow from the fakes for a kill. Pelipper is next, so I switch to Wazowski, who takes virtually no damage from Water Gun. A 4 times effective Thunderbolt takes the Water Bird down, and then Skarmory comes in. To keep it out of healing range, I'll need to use 2 Mystic Water boosted Surfs. Or I can just kill with a crit. Last is Altaria, who can really start to do damage if it sets up enough Dragon Dances. Time for me to start raging. Next turn, Aerial Ace does a decent chunk as Dragon Rage brings the Cloudbird into healing range. I guess I messed up my calcs here. On the heal I rage again and then see another Dragon Dance come out. I didn't realize Winona would heal this thing twice, so now I'm really not feeling confident. Altaria uses a third D-Dance as D-Rage leaves it in range of 1 more. Wazowski actually manages to live a +3 Aerial Ace with 12 HP and pick up the win with another Blast of Fury. That was pretty sloppy, but like I always say, I'm never punished. In Lily Cove City, I pay a quick visit to the move deleter to get Rock Smash off Celia, and I make my way to Mount Pyre. I beat up some Team Magma grunts and am given the red orb after Maxie clearly takes the wrong one. With no time to waste, I fly to Slateport, but Team Magma is already stealing Captain Stern's submarine. Wait a second, how are they gonna get in the sub if it's underwater already? Wouldn't it flood? Guess Team Magma's taken care of. I go to their base in Lily Cove just so I can clean up the remnants, but Tabitha's convinced Maxie is at the seafloor cavern. I go to Moss Deep City to get dive from Steven, but can't prove Tabitha wrong until I beat some little kids. This battle will be my 2 Pokemon versus theirs. Winner takes all. I open by using Bite on the Lunatone and Surf, which hits both the floating rocks. The moon barely hangs on and uses Hypnosis to put Celia to sleep. The sun hits Gyarados with Psychic, but it doesn't do much damage. Next turn, they heal Lunatone as Wazowski connects another Surf, taking it down to 60% and killing Solrock. I forgot that single target Surf will do a lot more damage than double, so not wanting Tate and Eliza to heal again, I use Flamethrower, which actually gets a burn. Mightyena stays asleep and the Crescent Moon sets up a light screen. Too little too late as a Dragon Rage from Gyarados earns us our 7th gym badge. The submarine somehow made it here in one piece, so I find my way to Groudon and... wait, Maxie's gonna murder me? Guess I'm fighting for my life now. Wazowski starts the battle by doing huge damage with Surf as Mightyena uses Scary Face. I thought a Hyper Potion was gonna come out here, so I used Flamethrower to do less damage, but it was only a Super Potion, so I could have killed with Surf. Then the Magma Boss big brains me and switches Camerupt into my next Flamethrower. Honestly, it doesn't matter since Gyarados outspeeds and destroys it with a Surf. Mightyena comes back out, and after another Super Potion, we pick up another kill with Thunderbolt. Last is Crobat, who just manages to take half Wazowski's health before dying to 2 T-Bolts. After losing, the colorblind dummy pisses Groudon off with the wrong orb, so it goes ballistic. Archie shows up late and we all go outside so Maxie can realize that altering the course of nature has serious repercussions. Shocker. Then Archie has the audacity to tell me to stay out of things even though I'm a better trainer than him and Maxie. Steven flies in so the game can reverse psychology me into going to Sootopolis City, so obviously I head straight there. Steven introduces me to Wallace, who for whatever reason says nobody from Sootopolis is allowed in the Cave of Origin, so yet again the fate of the world falls on my prepubescent shoulders. With the power of friendship on my side, I walk up to this 11.5 foot tall, 2,000 pound behemoth and hold up my red orb. The game design on Groudon's waddle here is really just a work of art. Time for Wazowski to do his thing. Thanks to Groudon's drought, Surf won't be a 2-hit kill, and Fire Blast ends up doing decent damage. I guess Gyarados heard that because he crits his next Surf to make sure the legendary dies in 2. Steven thanks me for saving the world, and now we can finally take on the 8th gym. Of course I make it through this ice puzzle for literal children on my second. Okay, I had to look up a guide. Not my fault, it was super late and all I wanted to do was get in front of Wallace and stop for the night. When I picked up the next day, I was fresh and ready for battle. I opened with Wazowski against this little love disc. See ya. Then Whiscash comes in and tanks a Dragon Rage but sets up a Rain Dance so my neutral Surfs are stronger. Factor in the crit from Gyarados and there's no way this thing was living. Celio is next, who lives a Thunderbolt but does virtually no damage with Body Slam. Wallace burns a Hyper Potion, so it takes a few more zaps before the blubbery boy goes down. Now his scariest Pokemon, Milotic, comes in. I use a Dragon Rage, breaking Morphle Scale, as Ice Beam actually does a solid chunk to Wazowski. Between Recover and Ice Beam, if things go wrong, my run ends here. My second Dragon Rage brings Milotic just under half as Ice Beam hits for 30 damage. Looks like that virtually no damage from Celio is gonna be significant. I go for Thunderbolt hoping it will kill, but Milotic hangs on and uses Recover to get back over half health. I Dragon Rage as Ice Beam brings Gyarados into the red, but Milotic is out of healing range and next turn I outspeed for a T-Bolt kill. Last is Seaking, who lives a Thunderbolt and wastes the rest of its life setting up Rain. Is what I thought since I didn't realize it had Swift Swim. It outspeeds Wazowski but thankfully goes for Water Pulse instead of Fury Attack, which could have been tragic. With that, Gyarados sweeps the Water Gym and it's time for the final push. With the ability to use Waterfall, I backtrack to Meteor Falls to finally pick up our final team member, a Bagon named Sully. Fun little tidbit of info here, Dragon is special in this game, and guess how many special attack IVs Sully has? 1. That's gonna make things fun in the Elite Four. I pick up some items and TMs I'll need and finally make my way through Victory Road, where of course Wally ambushes us for a battle. I open with Gyarados against his Altaria and get a crit Thunderbolt to do around 60%. It safeguards and Wally uses a premature Super Potion as I hit a Dragon Rage. Thinking he won't heal again, I click Thunderbolt, but he actually swaps into Magneton to eat the hit. Wazowski decides this won't be like Watson as he spits fire at the cluster of magnets to take it down. Now it's back to Altaria, who takes a T-Bolt and hits Aerial Ace for about 30 damage. Next turn Gyarados gets the kill and Delcatty comes in. One Mystic Water Surf does almost all its health as the cat misses Sing and we kill with a second Surf. When his Gardevoir comes in, we finally see Celio for the first time since Tate and Liza. This waifu's only damaging move is Psychic, so it's just a matter of time before Celia hits enough bites to get the kill. Last is Roselia, who Mightyena flinches with her first bite. Then after the second, he uses Toxic, but it's too late for a stall. One last bite sends Wily packing, and now it's time for our last few obstacles. For those of you that haven't seen one of my videos before, I use rare candies between each member of the Elite Four in order to match the level of the next member's ace. This means the last person I'll be able to edge my EXP against is the first member of the Elite Four, Sydney the Dark-type user. I can't get a Salamence until the next battle, so for this one it's still just Wazowski and Celia. We open with a Surf that does huge damage and Mightyena crunches me for a bit. Knowing a heal is coming out, it just takes 2 more Surfs to get our first kill. Now Cacturn comes in, so I switch to Celia since I don't want Wazowski taking a lot of Needle Arm damage. I actually come into a Feint Attack which Celia resists. I use Howl to raise my attack by 1 stage as a Cotton Spore lowers my speed by 2. Before the battle, I taught Mightyena Facade and gave her a Silk Scarf so at +1 attack she could 2-shot the cactus. However, the speed drop was the worst possible thing for me, and after 1 Facade I need to switch back to Gyarados. Needle Arm actually only does 30 damage as a Flamethrower kills this stalker. Sydney's Sharpedo goes down to a single Thunderbolt and then his Ace Absol comes out. It goes for Snatch, which won't do anything because I'm using an attacking move. Gyarados' Mystic Water boosted Surf procs the Citrus Berry, but this was all calculated so that Sydney wouldn't heal his Ace and I could kill with a second Surf. Last is Shiftry, who gets a crit Fake Out, leaving Wazowski at a pretty scary amount of HP. After a Flamethrower, the Tengu uses Double Team. I miss my next fire attack and he swaggers me. Wow, this guy is arrogant. Then I realize I'm being dumb and this thing's only attacking move is extrasensory, which doesn't affect Celia. I bring her in at the perfect moment but miss a facade and get swaggered. I cycle between the two until Celia doesn't get swaggered and she finally connects a facade for the win. With the first and by far easiest member down, I evolve Bagon twice into Salamence and get the other two up to level 51. Now it's time to battle Phoebe, the ghost type user. Sully leads with a big crunch as his Person Berry shakes off Confuse Ray. Phoebe heals, but 2 crunches later and the creep is dead. Well, I guess it was already dead, you know what I mean. Her Ace Dusclops comes out next, but since this one has Ice Beam, I need to get Salamence out of there. Celia gets hit for 40 on the switch and then howls to get to +1 and she takes another Ice Beam. I replaced Dig with Shadow Ball before this fight since Ghost is physical and can take advantage of the boost from Howl. At +1, she gets the Dusclops down to low health and its Citrus Berry means Phoebe won't heal. Now in red health, another Shadow Ball gets a KO. Her first Bayonet comes in and gets dropped by Shadow Ball. Then she sends out Sableye, who has a Ghost Dark type, isn't weak to Shadow Ball, so I can't one-shot it. I bring in Wazowski, who eats a Feint Attack on the switch. Then Surf does around 75% as Crystallized throws out a Shadow Ball. No full Restore comes out as Gyarados gets the kill with one more Surf. Last is Phoebe's second Bayonet, who lives a Surf, but only to miss a Toxic. Then Wazowski fires off a Thunderbolt for the win. 2 down, 3 very hard ones to go. With the team at 53, we face arguably our biggest challenge of the run, Glacia. Salamence is 4 times weak to her Ice types and they're all bulky and hit hard. I'm starting to notice a theme of Ice type trainers giving me trouble in all my runs. Anyway, I planned for this battle for a few hours and was only able to come up with a strategy that works about 50% of the time. First things first, her Glalie has Light Screen and my Gyarados is a special attacker. I teach Mightyena Taunt and hope Glacia goes for either Hail or Light Screen first so I don't take damage. This gamble pays off as her Hail is stopped. Now we crunch the ball of snow as it Ice Beams for huge damage. The next move decides the fate of the whole battle. I taught Mightyena the Iron Tail TM, which is 75% accurate. I click the Steel type move and connect to kill Glalie. Now I can switch Gyarados into a Surf from Celio for a minimal amount of damage. Thunderbolt brings it low but out of healing range as another Surf chips away. On the next turn we're able to pick up a knockout with another T-Bolt. Glacia's second Celio is a higher level so it takes Thunderbolt better, but it's still a 2-shot as she sets up Hail. Now Gyarados is going to take an additional 10 damage each turn. The Ice Queen's second Glalie takes around 70% from Flamethrower as Ice Beam and Hail damage bring Gyarados pretty low. He's able to kill with another Flamethrower, bringing in Glacia's last Pokemon, Walrein. This is where Wazowski goes out in a blaze of glory. I Thunderbolt Walrein for around 45%. Even with the paralysis, Walrein fires off a Blizzard which doesn't always hit and hail until Gen 4, killing our hard carry. I knew Wazowski wasn't making it out of this battle alive, but this was still one of the most brutal sacks I've ever had to commit. Thanks for everything, buddy. Not out of the woods yet, I bring in Sully, who needs to avenge his best friend. The only move I could teach him that gave me a shot at winning was Brick Break, but it only has about a 60% chance of killing. I nervously click the move, and luck was on my side as I get the kill. For reference, I don't stream these runs, but I actually screamed "Let's go" in my room when this killed, to an audience of nobody. Even though the run is alive, I'm far from in the clear. Drake the Dragon-type trainer is next, and I really would have loved to have Wazowski alive so I could teach him Ice Beam for this one. Instead, I'll be fully relying on Sully and Dragon Claw. His attack EVs are maxed out and special attack is just under maxed. I needed to do this to raise his speed enough to be faster than Drake's own Ments. Anyway, Dragon Claw kills Shelgon with no problem, but now things get terrifying. Altaria always lives a Dragon Claw due to its high special defense stat, so I crunch it first to prevent Drake from healing. I actually get a crit that doesn't matter as I'm met with a Dragon Dance. Now Altaria outspeeds Sully, but it's pretty weak so he can live a Dragon Breath. Giving him a Cherry Berry pays off as Dragon Claw connects for another kill. I'd briefly like to mention that in Gens 1 to 3 there's something called badge boosts. Basically, certain badges raise your Pokemon's base stats by 10% in this game. Because of the special attack boost from the Mind badge, Salamence's Dragon Claw is almost always a guaranteed kill on both of Drake's Flygons. Luckily, they both drop to Sully and Drake is left with his own Salamence. My Dragon Claw has somewhere around a 10% chance at getting a kill here. If you couldn't tell by now, I'm a bit of a gambler, but 10% is just asking for death. I looked into every other option I could think of and had no better answer. I click the attack, and at this point, I'm just full on pleading, please kill, please kill. Somebody must be looking out for me because I had absolutely no business getting past Drake. Shaking from the adrenaline rush, all that's left in this run is the man himself, Steven Stone. If you thought relying on RNG was over, then you better strap in. I opened by clicking the 85% accurate Fire Blast against Skarmory and luckily connect for a kill. Claydol is next, but I gave Salamence the black glasses so Crunch would be a 2-hit kill. Unfortunately, a Reflect goes up between my attacks, which may end up throwing me off. I switched to Celia against Cradily, who tries to confuse me, but a Person Berry snaps her out. I thought about taunting, but decided to just see how much Iron Tail would do with Reflect. Pretty bad damage. Cradily hits another Confuse Ray, so I go back to Salamence, hoping an Ancient Power doesn't come out. Sully eats up a Giga Drain as Reflect wears off, so now it's back to Celia. She gets confused once more, so I cycle again, and this time Mightyena tanks a -5 Ancient Power. Then she fires off a crit Iron Tail to get a kill. Aggron is next, but since Earthquake is its highest damaging move, I can safely go to my flying type Salamence. I taught Sully Earthquake over Brick Break, so he's able to OHKO the Steel Beast. Armaldo comes out next, so it's back to Celia, who takes a -1 Ancient Power pretty well. Iron Tail does around 70% as Slash hits for a good chunk of damage. Next turn, another Iron Tail gets the kill, and Steven is just left with his Metagross. It's time for Celia to set the stage for my final gambit. In exchange for her life, she sets up the Sun for Sully. A boosted Fire Blast is my only hope to one-shot the Iron-like Pokemon, so I pray one last time. Salamence connects, and this one isn't even a roll. Watching this back now, I'm still in disbelief I was able to pull it off. An idea that I thought would make for an easier, entertaining run turned into one of the greatest challenges I've ever faced. I could replay this right now and likely not even make it past Brawley. The Monster Squad somehow made it into the Hall of Fame, and let's not forget those who gave their lives so we could get here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it this far, let me know who your favorite gym leader or Elite Four member is in Hoenn. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, any challenge can be beaten if you just use your head.